Should illegal drug possession be decriminalized?
I fully support decriminalization of drugs. I've had fentanyl touch my family in a significant way, and I wouldn't want to see that happen to another family. Gladly, I'm able to report that we've come out the other side in pretty good shape. So, but that is a success story. There have been too many deaths and injuries due to the fact that drugs are illegal. I think it's time we put the money that we try to spend on enforcement into education.
I think it should be. And because then there's no real reason for it to be illegal and unsafe. It should be available in a safe way if people are going to use it. I think, unfortunately, it's a difficult one to cure. And that's why it's so difficult. So while people are using it, it should be safe.
I absolutely think drug possession should be decriminalized. I don't think you solve a mental health problem and a health problem by convicting people and further, extending sentences, giving them fines that a lot of folks can't even pay anyway. So it just clogs up our system and it doesn't help the problem.
They should be decriminalized because I don't think you could help the people that are struggling with those drug addictions and everything if you criminalize them, and they'll just probably get worse if they do that.
Anything above marijuana? No, absolutely not. It should not be decriminalized. We see a lot of mental health issues come from drug addiction and issues, and it even starts actually out with marijuana and then it grows from there.
I think it should, because a lot of it is related to mental health issues. And because someone has a mental health problem, they shouldn't be a criminal.
I think the answer is probably yes, because the current approach doesn't seem to be working. And so I'd be willing to give it a try, at least do a pilot project in one area or something to see if it can make a difference and turn things around.
Yeah, there's a lot of people die of overdoses, so if it helps that, I think it would.
So you think we should do it?
Yeah. Decriminalize, yeah. Not the dealers, the users.
I think that there's a certain stigma to drug use and addiction that is very rampant in the Canadian community and just in the Western community overall. I think decriminalization would definitely help with getting the people the right help that they need. For example, the shooting tents and all that. It's definitely something that we should consider, just out of the pure altruism of our people. Everybody hasn't really had the opportunity to live a good life, and sometimes that leads you to make certain decisions that you wouldn't normally make, if you weren't cornered in life, right? So out of pure altruism, I do believe that we should decriminalize. And I also do believe that we should destigmatize addiction in the Canadian and Western community.
I don't think they should be decriminalized. I think there's just too much of it. It's too open right now, and I've seen too many examples that have resulted from drug use.
With the right amount of funding, it should. Yes. I feel like we don't have enough avenues to deal with those sorts of things to get people help in regards to their drug abuse.
I think that there's a wide range of drugs, and I think that there certainly shouldn't be serious drugs like fentanyl decriminalized. I think we have to have an intellectual approach on other things like marijuana because of the varied usage that you can have for both medicinal and recreational purposes. But I think we have to have a clear delineation, when we have the conversation as to what we're talking about exactly.
No, I don't think that's fair. I mean, people have problems. They're going to get it regardless. But at the same time, you need some deterrence. And if jail or a fine or what have you is one of them, well, great. I don't see that decriminalizing would help the problem at all.
And if we're talking about marijuana, that's a totally different subject now. But if we're talking about drugs that could affect children, or in the possession of individuals who are not responsible, they should be very punished in a way that they'll make sure that they don't do it again.
It depends on the amount, I imagine. If it's just for personal use, yes. But if it's for selling, like if it's lots, then it should be criminal offense, yes.
No, I do not believe it should be decriminalized because when you go into areas that give away free drugs, you see an awful lot of deterioration of the culture and the society and the safety of others. I think it should be criminalized because your brain is affected and you don't work, you don't do anything. So I think it's a very, very poisonous, destructive thing to do, to keep giving people more access to drugs so that they don't function well in a society.
If you decriminalize it, it is not going to stop the amount of overdoses. It's not going to stop the amount of people dealing on the streets, and I don't think it's going to save lives.
Yes and no. I mean, yeah, I think that there should be a greater focus on maybe safe use and harm reduction more so than criminalization.
I believe that might be a good way to go. There's European countries that have done that. I think we need to put money into treatment of addictions, not criminalizing it.
Illegal drugs, absolutely not. That would just lead to more and more and more and more and public acceptance and awareness of illegal drugs. So no bloody way.
Absolutely, yes, it definitely should. There is too much stigmatization around the use of illegal drugs, and I know of the situation that happened in Portugal where they decriminalized all drugs, and the drug crimes as well as like issues surrounding them significantly decreased. So I think we should just follow suit. It makes so much sense, like how marijuana has and cannabis has gone. Like, it's just so much better now, and it could just be the same with everything, in my opinion.